Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Apologies, it's been 5 days since my last video. Unfortunately, I took a 2-day break over the weekend because you guys were bombarded with content the end of last week with the Tuchel sacking, Graham Potter taking over at Chelsea Football Club. This is my match preview for the Champions League game at home to RB Salzburg in the Champions League, Graham Potter's first game. Since then, I had a bike crash. Now obviously, I'm okay because I'm sat here in front of the camera, but I mashed up the right side of my body. I've been in a lot of pain, can't really walk, can't really get around anywhere. So I've been a bit drained. I'm sure you can understand it. It was an unfortunate accident. Not my fault. It was 3 dogs run across the road. Sadly, I did hit one of the dogs and I don't know what happened to it after. I'm just a bit slow at the moment. So if you do see me looking a bit awkward or moving a bit awkwardly, I'm trying to do my best to just be as normal as possible. But that's why. So if you could hit the like button, that'll be a nice little side happiness moment for me. Subscribe to the channel as well if you can and haven't already done so. But we have got a massive game tonight. It's massive for a multitude of reasons. First one, we lost in Zagreb, which means now every game between now and the end of this group is a must-win for Chelsea Football Club. We want to be winning the group. We want to give ourselves the best opportunity of progressing in this competition as far as we possibly can. The second reason, this one doesn't really need much explanation. Graham Potter, his first game in charge of Chelsea and his first game ever in the Champions League. He played in the Europa League as well, managing for Östersund. They played against Galatasaray. I think they won that. I think they also beat Arsenal. So it's not like he doesn't have any kind of European pedigree. But going from Östersund in Sweden, no disrespect, but the step up to Chelsea is massive. The same way that the step up from Brighton to Chelsea is also big. Now, you guys know, when it comes to football, interviews, managers, the way that people speak, the way that people hold and conduct themselves with body language and knowledge outside of just speaking about tactics, this is something I'm very interested in the football world. Graham Potter, in the first couple of interviews we saw, a few days ago, there was the first address to Chelsea fans, a very brief social post where he's basically saying all of the things that you would expect a new manager or a new player to come in and say, like, we want to compete, we want to do well. But in the press conference yesterday, the pre-match press conference for the Salzburg game, we saw a bit more depth from Graham Potter. And I think what excites me most, not just about this game, but about what Graham Potter brings to Chelsea, is I think everybody is ready for us to fail now. When we keep bringing in elite managers, when Tuchel was there, having set the precedence by winning the Champions League, any defeat brings with it pressure. And I'm not saying that Graham Potter, if we lose games, isn't going to be under pressure. That would be a foolish thing to believe because Chelsea are a massive club. Chelsea want to be winning every game and therefore every competition. But what we see with Graham Potter is not a big name. So people will be expecting this to not go well. And I think when Chelsea are the underdogs, when people don't expect us to achieve anything or to win stuff, that is when Chelsea, within our DNA, have always delivered the most. And I think what we've heard in the first couple of days since Potter's taken charge, there is an uptake in positivity in the changing rooms. The players need to obviously understand what Graham Potter is out there telling them what to do. And I think with a manager like Potter, with his emotional intelligence degree, with his ability to manage players, I think that is one of the things that Tuchel will have struggled with come the end of his reign, because there are a lot of players who weren't being played, A, in the positions they wanted to be played in, or B, just not being played whatsoever. And when you've got a squad full of the talent that Chelsea do, you've got egos. You have to manage those egos. In my head with Graham Potter, there's certainly less ego with what we've seen so far. And I know that we've not even seen a game from Graham Potter yet at Chelsea. And with the Chelsea job, as we said earlier, there's always pressure as soon as you don't get results that are W's. And Chelsea need to get off the ground running here in the Champions League tonight. But without any further ado, I have gone with a similar looking formation to what we saw under Thomas Tuchel. And I want to know from you guys in the comments down below, we're talking about trying to get the best out of the new manager and out of the personnel we have at the club. And a lot of people have said that we progressively need to move towards a 4 at the back system. Now, there's rumours that Todd Boehly went into a meeting when he first joined Chelsea suggesting a 4-4-3 formation to Thomas Tuchel, which made Thomas Tuchel laugh and think like, does this guy know what he's got himself in for? This is football. We can't have a 4-4-3. That's 11 players. Now, whether or not Bowley has specifically then altered this, told Graham Potter, well, I think from what I've been told, we will be more exciting, more entertaining if we move to a 4 at the back system, but just not 4 midfielders and 3 attackers, because you're not allowed to do that. I don't think we're going to see that in the opening game tonight. Yes, there's been a week. Yes, we didn't have the game against Fulham at the weekend due to the sorry passing of the Queen. However, I think tonight we will see a 3 at the back system. Edouard Mendy is injured and N'Golo Kante is also not available for this game. So, Kepa starts in goal with a back 3 of Wesley Fofana, Thiago Silva and Kalidou Koulibaly. I certainly think, even in this opening match under Graham Potter, we are going to see a big difference in the levels of performance. What we know about the way that Graham Potter sets his teams up, the way that he expects everybody to work very hard on the field. There will be early signs of different kind of training ground maneuvers, different kind of progressive ways to carry the balls forward. I think we'll see Thiago Silva advanced up the field. I think we'll see Wesley Fofana and Koulibaly being asked to advance into the RB Salzburg half of the field with the ball. Dynamic running is also a massive, massive thing that we see in Graham Potter's teams. When the opposition have the ball on the left-hand side, Chelsea players even from the right move over and you see the shape of the team. We're looking at half the field and almost all of the Chelsea players will be there, swarming, pressing against the opposition to try and win the ball back as quickly as possible. One of the biggest changes that we need to see is that we seem to struggle in the midfield areas with making those final balls forward. We often see it that Thiago Silva or Rudiger last season or whoever's been playing in the left centre-back role has been asked to be the creative outlet to put balls forward unless it's going down the right-hand side or down the left-hand side with the wing-backs who have often been Chelsea's most creative players. I think what we might start to see in this game tonight as we move into the midfield, Reece James, Jorginho, Kovacic, Cucurella. We're going to put them up on the screen now and I'll talk a little bit about why I've gone with this selection. But Chelsea need to stop being so predictable with where opposition defences know balls are going to be played from. We know if it gets to Reece James, he's either going to try and get a shot away if there's no movement further ahead of him, which is something that dramatically needs to change. The availability of players through their movement off the ball needs to improve massively. But with the centre-backs, we're going to start to see more progression. And I think there's a lot of people saying that even in the game tonight, we might see more of a 3-3-3-1 formation, which I actually think would still be good, gets a few more attacking players out there. But I think for this first game tonight, it will be adaptations of what we know, but also nothing too dramatic because Chelsea can't really risk not going out there and winning this game. You could argue that in order to take a risk and win, we need to change what wasn't working before. But I think tonight we will see a similar formation, but with different patterns and the early phases of the training regime under Potter coming into fruition. So, Cucurella, I've started him on the left because I just think Potter will pick him. I don't think this has anything to do with Potter used to manage Cucurella, but I think considering there's only been less than a week to prepare and get this Chelsea team ready, a team that were shocked by the dismissal of Tuchel, but also not playing well and not getting results. That result in Zagreb wasn't just a bad result, it was an awful Chelsea performance. So Cucurella is one of those players who knows exactly what Potter wants him to do. Reece James, first name on the team sheet every single game. Jorginho, I've put him in the middle because we saw him in the press conference in last night's game, and I think he will be Chelsea's captain tonight. Kovacic in the middle as well. We get to see, hopefully, I'm interested to see what we get from Jorginho in a Graham Potter system. We move into the front three. Mason Mount, Raheem Sterling, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I really want to see Armando Broja out there, and what we know about Graham Potter is that he loves to give the youth a chance. We obviously know as well, with Todd Bowley, he wants Chelsea, and whoever is the manager, Potter now, to keep progressing, to keep using the young players in the team. But I think for tonight, we can't go giving Armando Broja his first start in the Champions League. Chelsea need to win. RB Salzburg are not a bad side. AC Milan are the ones that we really should be worried about as the number one, especially with Olivier Giroud. in their team. He'll probably score against us, won't he? So we can't underestimate the opponents, but it's all about Chelsea in this game tonight. Aubameyang through the middle. There were good sparks in the opening 20 minutes from him in that game against Zagreb, but as soon as Chelsea conceded, everything went flat. Players are looking around at one another, didn't know necessarily what they were being asked to do by the manager. So the fact Aubameyang's debut was in the Champions League and we lost, I think tonight he is going to be the main man in this team. You can see the subs bench now, lots of quality on that bench that we can call up. I have no idea what the team's actually going to look like. I just think this is, for me, safe. I think you've got adaptability and maturity in this lineup where, with Graham Potter trying to implement new things, you need to have the experienced players who are able and have been able in the past to quickly adapt when new managers come in, asking them to do new things. And I think this team is the one that we will see start tonight. I think Chelsea will win. I don't think we're going to see the most free-flowing, attacking football that we will see eventually from Graham Potter, but there will be a spark. There will be players that go out there tonight desperate to impress, to make sure they're at the forefront of all of his selections moving forward. We've got no Premier League game at the weekend, so it's not going to be a case of resting certain players tonight when we move forwards looking at the weekend. We've got AC Milan in very soon as well in the Champions League. International break coming up. Chelsea need to get to winning ways, because otherwise, for a couple of weeks, everyone is going to be slating Graham Potter. Everyone, if we don't win this game tonight, is going to be looking at Potter thinking, what the bloody hell have Chelsea done? You sack a European title winning manager, bring in Graham Potter, and you don't even beat Salzburg at home. That's not going to be the case. We're going to win tonight by 2-0. Let me know your score predictions and starting 11 in the comments down below. 6 things we learnt will be uploaded straight after the game, so make sure you are subscribed to the George Benson Football channel. Turn on those bell notifications. Feels good to be back after 5 days with no video, but bear with me if I am a bit slow over the course of the next few days, because I'm in pain. It's a struggle, but we're getting through it. Come on, you Blues.